Hello, and welcome. Sorry, we had brief technical issues. Like this, these are things that we need to deal with, right? With the virtual events and things like that. These are some of the things that we need to deal with. But we had a little technical issues just right before we started, and that's hence the delay in starting the broadcast. But yes, we are here now. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining from anywhere, we don't see anybody yet connected. So we're going to wait a little bit for people to join us on the event today. But as you join, please tell us where you're connecting from, and just tell us in the comment section, and then we'll be with you shortly, okay? So sit back, relax, and I'm going to be bringing our speaker up soon. We're going to be talking around, what mothers go through, some things, especially around, postpartum depression, and just dealing with mom issues, especially new moms, and especially for those who are doing it for the first time. And even sometimes it's not even about being the first time alone. Sometimes it's that every child is somewhat different. Sometimes the experience with every child could be different. And so just dealing with being a mom or a new mom. And our speaker today has gone through, certain experiences that puts her in a position to share with us what she went through, and to be able to share how she was able to navigate that season of her life, such that she'll be able to share this with you, and you'll be able to navigate the same thing if you're currently going through it, or at least if you're not the one in it, you'll be able to help somebody that you see or understand. Because when you do understand what people are going through, it helps you to position better to help them, to support them, and to be that support system that they need. All right. So I'll bring up our guest in about 30 seconds. So don't go anywhere. I mean, we're still waiting for our guests, for our audience to join us, but we're going to go ahead anyways. But just give us 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to bring on the speaker of the day now. Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing great.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you on your phone or on your laptop?
I'm on my phone.
On your phone. Okay, so I'm just going to give you like 2 seconds. I think you just need to wipe the you don't need to switch. It's fine. Okay. I just need to wipe the lens of your camera.
All right.
So I can quickly and join me back. Yeah. All right. So yeah. We have our speaker in the house. Let her just clear so that you can see her face clearly. Okay. Cool. I love it. Okay. We're good to go now. Awesome. Just look at that. Yeah, much more. Yes, much better. All right. So you can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Right,
awesome. Fantastic. I see somebody online. Please, if you're online, can you just say hi to us in the comment section and let us know where you're joining from, and let's have a conversation, because this is meant to be a conversation, and not just, we don't just want to, gist away. We want you to be part of our conversation.
Exactly.
Yes. So if you're on, please let us know you are on. I see one person on. Please share with us in the comment section where you're connecting from, and then we can take it from there. But even as much as this is a conversation, I and Tammy are here to have the conversation. So we'll just keep having the conversation, and then you can join in the conversation. So Tammy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm fine. At least I was able to put my toddler to bed just before this. I was praying for her to sleep because just two of us at home right now.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh God, I pray like he
Yeah.
sleeps, well. Okay, Icon Beauty. Hi, Tolu here from Lagos. Thank you, Tolu from Lagos. Thank you for connecting and thank you for dropping a comment. We appreciate that you are here with us. Okay. All right, Timmy.
Alright.
Let us just start
Yeah.
this conversation and then we'll have, our audience join us as we go along. So tell me, let's start from the very beginning, right? Why Mother's Haven? Why did you put this event together? What was the vision behind it?
Sorry,
Are
my
you there?
network. Yes, I'm
Yeah, it
here.
was for a minute. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm saying that why Mother's Haven? Like what birthed this vision in you? Let's start from there so that we give a background, story about, why are we doing this?
All right. Thank you very much. So, Mother's Haven came about from my experience. I went through a phase after I had my baby, and at that point in time, I didn't have a structure on ground, or I didn't know of a structure on ground that I could actually interact with or engage with to be able to help me through that particular phase. And I had to go through it, as painful as it was, and come out of it almost on my own until I was able to know what I was going through. So after a while, I had a course to have to journal my pains, my experience, and I realized that I had been through something that could actually help someone. So if I could create something that someone else could benefit from, it would actually be of great support and a great pillar of help. So
Hmm.
I felt I needed to create a space, an atmosphere, an environment where women can actually find help, can actually find hope. I realized that women find it difficult to ask for help. But if they find themselves in a community where they know they have a credible access to true help, they will be vulnerable enough to tap into it. And also, sometimes we just need an element of hope. We know what to do, we know how to go about it, or we just need someone to let us know that it's all right. What you're going through is validated, what you're going through is just a normal phase and it will pass.
Pass.
And then definitely for those who are going through different hurts or situations, just a hand of help to say, okay, this is the way to getting your healing and getting benefits from it. So that's how Mother's Haven was actually birthed.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that background story. I love it. Like, I feel like it's why we know that when we are going through hard times or difficult situations, most times one of the ways we get through them is to know that this is not just for me. So if I'm able to figure out how to get out of this situation, then I know that something is given to me to be able to help others go through the same situation or similar situation and help them out. So thank you for not keeping this, solution or, this experience to yourself and,
Yeah.
just gracefully saying, you know what, I know this can help other women. So I want to talk about it. I want to share about it. So now talking about tackling new moms issues. I'm going to start from, so I believe this is your first baby, right? This experience was your
Yeah.
first baby. So
Yeah.
what was your experience like before you had your baby? Like from the moment of pregnancy, what was it like for you being a first time mom? What were some things that were going on in your head? What were those questions you were asking? How was the experience for you pre your baby?
All right. So my pregnancy journey, I by the time I found out I was pregnant, I started with the morning sickness, where any little thing nauseates you and everything. And Unfortunately, I had an history of ulcer, so anytime I don't eat on time, issue for me. So combining that as well with the morning sickness was actually something that was not quite tolerable. And
Mm.
for me, it didn't last quite long. So I got out of that phase and I was jumping around and everything. And then by the second trimester, I had what they call atopic dermatitis. It's a skin issue whereby you have severe itch all over your body, and it's just like as if a pin or a needle is
It's
piercing every hair in your yes. That's how it itches. It's not like you're just scratching something. No, it's like a piercing effect.
wow.
And unfortunately, my skin was also peeling, so I have a dark discoloration around my neck, and it was almost all over my body. I went to about two different dermatologists, and I was just seeking help. Anyways, to cut the long story short, I went through that phase for about 2, 3 months into pregnancy by second trimester, and I was able to at least and aside that, I was strong. I was climbing staircase. So staircase climbing was my own form of exercise. I worked in a hospital of about 3 floors, so I was always going up and down. And everyone was wondering that you will soon get tired. Don't worry and all. But even up to the day I delivered, I still
It's still,
climbed that staircase repeatedly. Yes,
wow.
repeatedly. So I was quite strong aside of those illnesses and all. So that was
Awesome.
the pregnancy journey. Yeah.
Ah, okay, cool. So, well, so you had a little bit of struggle here and there pre-pregnancy, but
Yeah.
before, your when you now had your baby, did you have any idea before about, postnatal depression or anything? Like, did you have any inclination to it? Like, oh, this is a possibility, but like just say, I don't know, I hope this is not going to happen to me, or you just entered it and had no idea what was even going on.
All right. So I'd been hearing about postpartum depression. Of course, I'm in the health sector, but I didn't pay so much attention to it. Probably
Mm,
because I just didn't pay attention to it. I knew a lot about depression and everything, people around, young people, and at that period, I think about 2 or 3 people had jumped over the Dublin Bridge. So there was a lot of talk about depression. Even right back then, yes, there are a lot of conversations about it, awareness, and also. But for postpartum depression, I wasn't hearing a lot about it, and I didn't pay so much attention. And when you're coming from the spiritual angle, when you hear those things, you're like, no,
I
it's
caution.
not me. Like, it can't happen. And also, even when I began to experience all of those things, it didn't even click to me that
Mm,
this is actually what I was going through. So it was like that. So it's one thing for you to just know that, okay, there's something, someone mentions it. Oh, yeah, yeah, I've heard it before. But when you now begin to experience it, I could not connect the dots as at
mm,
that time. I couldn't
mm,
connect the dots. So it wasn't something that I would say was really, really out there. Of course, people are raising awareness, but it wasn't so much as that
mm.
when I had my baby. So it wasn't something that I was cautious about.
Wow.
Probably if I had paid attention to it and I began to see the signs, I would
You
have been able to come out
spotted
of it
your time.
faster.
Mm,
Yes, yes.
so
But
what
I'd
what does
already gone the full-fledged 2 weeks before I knew
the whole thing? So what
the
does
whole
that
thing.
tell you, or what does that say to you, or what would you say to women in that regard? Because there is the should we even go there yet? Because there is the awareness. Okay, you know that this thing exists, but you didn't pay
Yes,
attention. But there's also,
attention. No, I
why
get it.
should you pay attention when you're not expecting it to come to you? Do you get? So
Thank you. Yes. Why should
how
you
do
pay
you
attention?
balance it? Yeah.
Yes. So I think it's important to pay attention, as I said, because it may not even be because of you, maybe because of someone else. That's
Mm,
just it. Not for you. So that's even the awareness I'm trying to create. Because when I send messages out and I talk about this, and I hear even ladies that are not married and they're like, I'm not a mother, it doesn't matter. And the
Mm,
men saying you are talking to the moms. No, it's not just the mothers, it's not just the grandmothers, it's not just the spouses. Even men, before you get married, it's something you have to know. For some women, it's postpartum depression. For some, it's just attitudinal changes. But these are things that we don't talk about. We just expect that, okay, once you get married and you have children, things will just go perfectly fine. Mm-mm.
mm,
Unfortunately, it's not so.
not
It's
always
not
so.
so. Yes,
Mm,
there are so many things that happen when a mother has a baby. Her life changes completely, 100%. Her
mm,
priorities changes, not because she has to do it, but because she practically doesn't have a choice, and also because of the way the African perspective has been set. Like the majority of the burden, almost of the care burden, almost lies on the woman, and then they say the financial burden lies on the man.
mm.
But unfortunately, the economy that we are, both the financial, the
And the
emotional, the
mm,
whole thing almost always lies on the woman. So these are things that predisposes the woman to going through some of these things, some of
mm,
these issues. Yes. So, and there are times where it comes to balancing. There's always that issue of balancing. There's always that issue of how to even talk to your mother, even when you're going through all of these things, because
mm.
they are trying to help you.
But they don't. But they don't even know
They're trying to
how.
offer help, and exactly, exactly. So that's why everyone really needs to on the transitioning, and everyone has to understand how they play their role in the transitioning process. Even as a friend, there's how you can give
Mm,
support to the new mother. You don't just buy all the wonderful
mm,
gifts for the baby. Oh, such a beautiful baby, and then you're not even asking the mother, how are you feeling? How
mm.
are you going through this process? How is your body? How are you stabilizing? How do you really feel? How is your emotions? We don't really ask these questions. We just say, oh, the baby is so cute, it's so wonderful and all. But now we need to pay attention
To the mom as
to
well.
both the mother and the child, and also the father.
Mm,
And
yeah,
also the
yeah.
father as
Because
well. So
even them
he
too, they
does,
might be going through
yeah,
some emotions, just like for some it's like, oh my god,
exactly.
this is more responsibility for me. How am I going to cope? How are we going to do
I had a situation like that as well. When I was working in the hospital, the wife gave birth to triplets, and the man was about running away
mm,
because they already had two or three children before this baby.
wow, so that's like six. The man will
That's
be
like
like, oh
six.
no, I can't do this.
And it's possible she didn't even tell him, so he may have not even been prepared, because
But
that's another
it's also
angle.
possible she didn't even check. It's possible she
She
didn't,
didn't know.
their mothers are like, no, 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 I don't want to
That's
know. I don't
very
want to know
true
the
too.
sex of the
I don't
babies.
want to know.
I don't want to know, and they're left with
Exactly.
the surprise at the end of the day.
Exactly.
If
So
I hear you
it's
clearly,
everybody.
yeah, if I hear you
Yes,
clearly from the conversation so far, is that please pay attention to all of these possibilities. Not necessarily because you feel like, oh, it might happen to me. No, but just knowing, just being knowledgeable enough. Because if you are aware, you are able to help somebody else go through. You're able to spot the symptoms in even somebody close to you, so that you're better positioned to then help them or support them. And that's why it's important to know, not because we want to know, because we need to strike a balance so that you don't get too inquisitive,
anxious.
and they're anxious
Exactly.
and they feel like, oh, I'm paranoid, like, oh, no, 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 this is not happening. It's not going to happen to me. What if? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're just saying is just have an idea of what it is about, so that you're able to
Exactly.
spot it and know
Yeah.
how to support. And then, if you're able to spot it easily, you're able to explain what is going on. And then people are able to support you the way they should. So, Temi, can you take us through the story, your own story, how you went through it? What happened that you felt if you had just paid more attention and knew about it, you could have handled differently? what went wrong, what went right, and what is the message that you want to share with the people today?
All right. Okay. So my story. So I had my baby and went home, and normal Yoruba culture where you have to use the hot water and all. And well, for me, I didn't even last long on that because my pain threshold was already was almost there already. So I was like, I'll, I'll I'll get through it when I get through it. But then I had to go and breastfeed my baby, and I had to be a mother. But unfortunately, I saw that I found it difficult to play that role because I didn't even want to carry my child as at that point in time. The only thing I would do for her was to breastfeed her and hand her over to the next available hand. And if no
Mm,
one close by was ready, I just put her down in the cot or in bed or somewhere. Just just leave me alone. Eat your food and leave me. So that was how it went. And I had gone through I had a tear during delivery. So I was trying to heal from that. And I mentioned earlier that I had ulcer. So there
mm,
are some medications that could not be prescribed to me because I had ulcer. So I just had to use the normal paracetamol tablet, which was not sufficient for the pain I was going through at the time. Yes. So I had to cope with the pain and I had to cope with emotions. I'm someone who likes to move around. I like to keep busy. And I see my husband going to work. I see my sister going out. I see everyone going out. But I just have
except
to,
you.
except me. I just, I just have to stay indoors and just be with this crying baby. I just with this baby that just a little thing now you just hear she's crying. So and like I felt like the world was punishing me. I felt why did I have to be the one to pay this price? I already
Mm,
paid the price during the pregnancy phase. I love sleeping, but unfortunately, because of the weight of the baby, I couldn't sleep properly, especially when I was getting close to delivery. Now I've
yeah.
delivered the baby, yes, and I'm supposed to be resting, and now I can't even sleep again because the baby is going to cry. So so all of this was actually a problem for me, and I wasn't eating. I didn't have appetite. Why did I need to eat? Everyone was saying okay eat, or they will come with this take pap, and I don't even like pap. So in short, the food that were available to me, I didn't want them. The ones that you desire, they will tell you no, a new mother cannot take this. So it was like everything was just all wrong. And you
Mm,
expect that a new baby should come with all joy, everything should be so rosy, everything should be so exciting. But unfortunately for me, it wasn't like that. And I couldn't speak out because I I felt they'll be like, "But you just had a baby. You
what's
should
wrong
be
with
happy. Do
you?
you know how
Yeah.
many people are looking or trusting God? Do you know?" So now, because you have to have a heart of gratitude, you can't even now say what you actually truly feel, which a
Mm,
lot of women actually go through in silence. So many women keep quiet about what they are going through. And I now realized that I kept on crying repeatedly. Like you just see me, I'll just sit down and be crying and be crying. And they will come and ask me, "What's wrong with you? Why are you crying?" And I couldn't give an answer. I couldn't
mm,
give an answer. So I had the continuous crying spells for almost the entire 2 weeks after delivery. And every symptom because I that could be listed out, I practically just had it. And then it got to a point that my sister just looked at me and said, do you realize that you've not been carrying your child? And
mm.
I'm like, and you would expect someone to probably feel remorse, like a mother is not carrying that. But I wasn't remorse. I was like, so
Mm.
you can you can imagine, like I was like, so you can imagine how that was, how bad it actually was. And she said, this baby blues, this postpartum depression. And I was like, oh, that thing I used to hear about.
Mm.
And the next thing, I went on my phone and I started reading about it. I started seeing the symptoms: anxiety, irritability, mood swings, um, loss of appetite. Even the only thing I didn't have was suicidal thoughts. I think I like myself too much. That was the only thing I didn't have. Every
Wow.
other thing, every other, I had 9/10 of the symptoms back then. And then the next thing was, I think I told my sister, or she even offered that we should go out. So we just went to the shopping mall close by, I think like 10 or 15 minutes drive away from the house. And we spent 1 hour in there walking around. We didn't even buy anything. And I felt so happy. I
Mm,
felt thrilled. I felt excited. Like finally I was out of the box.
out.
I
Hmm.
was
You
out.
felt like, so before it was feeling like we're claustrophobic, like what's going on? Who is keeping me in this box?
Exactly. Exactly. And throughout that time, I didn't have to hear any baby cry. I didn't. So it was like a jailbreak. Like I was being broken out of the prison cells. So it was really helpful for me. And I got back home and I was all lighted up, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, is it just going out that just transformed
Yeah.
you?" Yes, because any little thing anybody did, I will snap. Whether you are my mother, if you're my sister, you're my husband, I will snap. Even my friends around me could actually, my close friends could actually see it. So in short, I wasn't even replying messages because I didn't want to be rude. Because if I talk now, you will say.
Say, okay.
So I didn't want to be rude. Yeah, so I wasn't replying messages and all. But those that I had to talk to could actually see that mood swings, could actually see that character change and everything. But after that, and I started talking about it. I was seeking counsel. Okay, this is what I'm going through. What can I do about it? And then I was encouraged to begin to say positive affirmations to myself. So I began to say, I am joyful, I'm doing great things, I am a happy mother. Every good thing that you could actually think should actually happen to you, where things and after that repeatedly telling myself continuously over and over and over again. So I was doing a lot of affirmations and I was exploring my mind. Despite the fact that I couldn't go out as frequent anymore, but I was going out in my mind. So I'll
Mm,
begin to think of things, okay, places I want to go once at least I move past that phase. And I continuously told myself that this is just a phase, it will
mm.
pass. That was another encouragement I gave myself. This is just a phase, it will pass. This child will still grow up. She will still walk up and down. She will even get married and leave you. So it's a phase. It's just a matter of time. It will pass. So those were things I kept telling myself. And I did a little bit of exercise because I also wanted to lose the pregnancy fat and the baby fat because I'm slim. So I actually wanted at least to still stay close. So I started trying to exercise. And because I was not even an exercise person before, when you're slim and you say you want to exercise, people are like, you want to
What
disappear.
is
So I wasn't even fit. So trying to even do the exercise was actually a very difficult thing for me, but I still started little by little and I got better at it. And then it also helped me because I felt, oh, I was losing weight, so something was getting down and everything. So it also added to the things that gave me joy. So basically, those were some of the few things that I did to help get out of my situation. And I was also communicating with other mothers. So the fact
mm,
that I was able to talk to them about it, and it also helped me feel like I was helping. Yes.
absolutely.
So at least I'm helping somebody and it helped me.
Yeah.
So communication, even if you can't communicate with your spouse at the time, communicate with other trusted individuals and then you'll be able to actually get past it better.
I
So
love
that
it.
was the
So
journey
some of the
for
things,
me.
just to recap, the things that Tammy was able to do
Can
to
you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. I think my network was glitchy for a while.
Okay, but I can hear you. So I was just trying to recap the things that you said you did to take you out of this season. Was number one, you started to affirm, you
Yes,
started to
yes.
practice, positive affirmation. You went out, just
Yes, I
get
can hear you now.
yeah, just getting out of your space to take fresh air, to see something
Oh,
different
okay.
helped in opening up your mind to say, okay, freedom at last, right? So going like what, but that was not one of the things that you could do frequently. But at least just going out that first time helped, and then positive affirmation, and then talking,
Yeah.
to people, close people around you, talking to
Yeah.
other mothers about this to sort of help educate them helped as well. And then you talked about what was that other thing you said? Just thinking, imagining, using your imagination. Yes, using your imagination to future
Explore.
pace and say,
Yeah.
you know what, this baby is going to grow up, is going to become a young lady, she's going to get married, she's going to leave me. So this is just a phase, this is not going to last forever. And that kind of helped you
Yeah.
take away that claustrophobic feeling around you, that okay, see, it's not that bad. This is just for a little while, and I can handle this. I can cope in the
Yeah.
little time that we have together and all of that. And I do hope that now you are able to happily carry this baby. You are able to
Ah.
happily play with her. I hope that. Well, let me just ask you before we round this off. What was it like
Yeah.
for your husband in all of
Mm.
this?
So,
What was it like for him? And what would you say to husbands? I don't know so you share with us what it was like for him, and if he handled it well or not, and what you can say to husbands for them to be able to support their wives, even if the wife does not understand what she's going through or what her body is going through, how to even explain what is going on with her. How can they be more attentive to see the signs and then reach out in the way that they need to?
all right, thank you. So for my husband, at first it wasn't funny. I'll be very honest, yeah, with you. It wasn't a very clean process because I, on a normal day I'm not a nagging person, but the situation made me nag. And that's when I understood what what the Bible said when it said you should
Better for a month.
stay away from a nagging woman. Go on top of the roof.
Hi there.
Because the mood swings was on level 110%. So,
Hmm.
and he didn't understand. He didn't understand. And it was like, is it just because she just had a baby? Okay, yes, I understand she just had a baby. So, but still, like, what what has he done to deserve all of this?
Oh.
And then it was point at that time. But immediately we were able to know what I was actually going through. Then I sat him down and I told him, okay, this is what I'm going through. This is it. This is it. So he also went online and read about it. And I was actually impressed because I didn't even tell him to read about it. I just explained it in the way I understood it and expected that he would understand. But he didn't even stop there. He went online as well. I read about it and came back and started asking me, like, so you are going through this, you're going through this. And I'm like, yes, yes. And he was like, wow. So knowing that I wasn't acting the way I was by choice, but because of what I was going through was actually liberating for us. So it
Mm.
actually helped us to walk through that phase better. It actually helped us to walk through that phase better. So that was the one thing that he did. So my advice to other spouses or support systems, if it's your daughter, if it's your daughter-in-law, if it's your sister-in-law, your brother, any support system or in any capacity that you are to support a mother or a friend, first of all seek to understand what this mom is going through before judging her or before acting back towards her. And don't just say it's because of the baby or it's because she's pregnant, because that's another thing we normally do. I won't bother because I understand what you're going through. No, it's not just by understanding what she's going through. It's also understanding how you can support her for all of you to come out of it. So it's more of an awareness for supporting with information,
Mm.
supporting the right way is what will really help. Such that if you even need to offer pleasure, things that are pleasurable to her, you can give her the opportunity to choose. Don't just think it's ice cream that she needs right now. It may not be ice cream. It may be something else. Because that's another thing the men do. When you just have a baby, just feel, oh, they'll go shopping, bring everything to the house. And like, oh, my wife just had a baby.
And
Anything
then
you
if you're
want, just name
not
it.
like, what do you
And then
want?
she's like,
What do you want from me, this
exactly.
woman?
Exactly. So understanding what she wants is actually key. Understanding the responses she wants. Because there are times you say something, or she will say something, or she's complaining, and you now want to be logical about it. Okay,
And you
if
should
A plus B is wrong with you, then C should be the answer. No, she may not want C, just tell me Z. It's Z I want to hear at that point. I know this is what it should be, but just tell me what I need to hear. And if she has boundaries, just like I've been learning from the boundaries queen, yes, if she has boundaries, respect her boundaries. Respect
mm,
her boundaries. Know what she wants. If she says, I want 30 minutes me time. And this is one key thing that even other mothers, whether old existing mothers, have your me time. If you have to run inside the toilet and stay there for 10-15 minutes, nobody should come and disturb you. Be
mm.
strict with it. And as a spouse, honor it. And that's not when you start saying, your baby is hungry or something. No, 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 no. Honor it. Honor those boundaries that has been set and stick to it.
I mean that,
Yes,
that would help a lot, especially if you understand that as the man in the house, just knowing that okay, maybe
exactly.
this woman just needs her time, and you just taking the baby and
Exactly.
just taking the baby away for a while and let
A
the woman
way.
just be right.
A
So
way. Yes.
yeah, when you understand that, it just makes it easier because, like you said, it's not about buying all the gifts. Just your
Yes.
presence there sometimes might be all she needs. Just you carrying the baby and just giving me just make the woman sleep, put a blanket on top her and just let her sleep and carry the baby away. I see
A
that
way.
might just be the beginning of our healing. Like, this person cares
Honestly,
for me in the whole world. Like, people don't even know that those little things count.
they don't know. They don't know it's gold. It's gold. Just take the baby away. It's really gold mine. Like, I cannot explain it.
Yeah,
It's
Tolu,
it's it's
thank you
it's,
so
it's,
much.
it's
Yeah,
awesome help. Yeah.
yeah, Tolu,
It's
Tolu, you are right.
golden.
Yes, me time is key. With toddlers, is when they are asleep. Exactly.
Yeah.
When your babies are asleep, just go and soak. Go and soak in into the bathroom. Get scented candles. Play correct music. If you want to take a nap in the
Exactly.
bathtub, take the nap there and just feel refreshed.
Relax.
You
Yes.
know, it's very, very, very
It's
important.
compulsory. It's compulsory for new mothers to relax intentionally. It's very
It
compulsory.
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Please, Tolu, if you have any questions or anything, please, that would be the good time to ask as we put this, as we round this off. So, in a way to just round off totally, what do you see or how do you see women's Mother's Haven continually supporting, women in the society? I mean, I know that this is a new vision and all of that, but
Yeah.
what next after this webinar? What next? What should people expect from you?
All right. So what we have in plan for now is we're also looking at reaching out to the men, the spouses, as I mentioned earlier, because I've realized in my little research so far, I realized that it has affected a lot of marriages. For example, in my case, I was saying I was nagging, I was having attitude issues and all. If my husband didn't get to a point in time where he was able to understand and read about what I was going through, I'm very sure that it might have really affected our marriage. It might have affected our marriage. So for others who didn't have the opportunity to know and understand, it will have built issues upon issues, because the woman may have been saying so many wrong things that the man will find difficult to heal from, or the man may not understand that it's from a place of pain. So
Mm,
yes, so that's why our next stop is to speak to the men, to create awareness to the men as well, to support system, to mothers, to grandmothers, so that when your daughter-in-law is talking to you this way, don't feel like she hates you, don't feel like she's ungrateful, don't feel like she's ungrateful. She's actually going through a phase, and
mm.
she will get past this with all the right support that you can give to her. So that's our next step. And we also have a Telegram group that was created just prior to this event. So if you want to reach out to us, I think you can just follow the link. Then also on Instagram, you can send a message, and then we can attach you with every support that you need. Even if you're not a new mother, you're a mother already, and you're going through a state of overwhelm. You're going through a state of overwhelm. All of these principles applies as well. All of
Mm.
these principles applies. You need to have your positive affirmations. You need to have your me time. So you can come over to the Telegram group, can pray with you, can spend time with you, just to make sure that you pass through that phase. So those are the two things that we're doing right now. We're going out for the men, we're going out for the couples, and we are welcoming the mothers to reach out to us, speak to us, and we'll be able to at least assist you through that phase. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. I love what Fumilayo Abiodun says. She says, this is so real. Honestly, this should go beyond this platform. We got works to do. So many women don't know
Exactly.
this. I felt this too when I had my first son. Wow. For me, it would really be nice if you rejoin the community. And I feel like, maybe once in a while, Mother's Haven can just have like a real chat. So this is not going to be like just an interview, like it's going to be a chat. So that's going to happen in like a close, a meeting like
Yeah.
on Zoom where everybody can talk,
Can
right? And
express.
just
Yeah.
share, yes, express yourself, express what it is you're going through or what somebody around you is going through, and you are able to say, this is what it is. How can we help this person? This would really, really make a
Exactly.
lot of sense. Thank you, Fumi,
Yeah.
for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here at all. We appreciate you. Says Tolu says, how do we help the husbands who indirectly are going through their own struggles as a new father
Mhm.
and handling the change in their wives? So deep, so deep, so deep.
Wow.
How? What would you say to this, Demi?
All right. So, how do we help the husbands who indirectly are going through their own struggles as a new father and handling the changes in their wife? This is very true. I don't know if you remember the story I told you about the triplets and
Yeah.
the father who wanted to run away. So now it might be easier to understand because say, oh, it's three babies, but it's the same expression is a father with a baby would actually go through. That's why it's also important that the mindset of the men are prepared even before they go into marriage. That mindset capacity building has to be reset. Don't just think you're just going to go and hustle for money and care for the home. No, it's much more than that. Even when you now become a father, the men also have emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just because they don't talk about it or they form how rigid. They also have emotions. And because they have emotions, they have their own struggles. And they only talk about it and miss themselves. So
Mm.
that's the thing. They talk about it and miss themselves. So the it is now, yes. So and if it's an unfortunate situation where the man is in a community where they cannot even provide with the right counsel, it will make the matters worse.
Yes, very true.
To make the matters worse. So he will come home with the advice his friend gave him, whereas the friend doesn't even have the right information. So as a woman, that's why it's good that you know what you're going through. So the first thing you do is to explain to him the way he will understand. Not when you're having a heated argument. He cannot understand at that point in time. So you go
Mm.
to him when he's all calm and settled, when you know that okay, he's not hungry, he doesn't have work issues, he doesn't have work pressure or money matter. So you go to him at that time, explain to him, start with scenarios, start with stories. You can go tell him, okay, I listened to something on YouTube and this person narrated our experience. And this is exactly what I'm going through.
But what if exactly say at that point, for example, when you were sharing your story, you said, for example, that you weren't even sure what you
Yes.
were going through. So you could not even explain what it was you were going through until your sister pointed it
Mhm.
out, like you are not carrying
Out.
your baby,
Yes.
then you're like, okay, so and then you
Hmm.
said to say, oh, maybe this is what it is. So if you are in that sort of
Yes.
situation that you're not even sure what you're going through, you don't know how to explain it. How then are you going to be able to explain it to your husband who also don't know what's going on? And like,
To help him. Okay, that's very true. So what advice I'll give you is to go out, ask for help. Ask for help. Find a very good community. There are so many communities out there. Just find one whose platform is based on the right principles, so you don't fall into the wrong place. So look for communities that are based on the right principles. It could be a Christian community if you're faith based, a Christian community of mothers. There are so many communities that you could actually just go online, go on Instagram, or even come to us. We can even refer you. Even if you want to build your faith, there are communities where you can build your faith, find clarity of purpose. There are so many of these things. But the first thing starts from asking for help.
Help.
So, yes, so to help husbands that are going through struggles, you have to ask for help. We have to be
Mm,
vulnerable enough to ask for help. And when we actually get the help, we should be able to accept it.
yeah.
Because it's one thing for us to even be able to ask for help, it's another thing for us to accept this help.
Accept
Most
help.
of the
Yeah.
time, our boundaries are so tough that we are not vulnerable enough to open up.
So
So we
true.
should be able to ask for help so that we can receive it and now help our spouses. I
Mm.
don't know if I was able to answer the
I think that makes
question.
sense. And what I will just add to that is, so I think this is why it is important to even have these conversations before the baby comes, so that
Very
when
true.
you're able to have those conversations, then when you know you're still all the lovey-dovey, like these are very important information or discussions or conversations that couples should have. It should
True.
be part of the counseling process, where people just are able to have this conversation, like these are possibilities that can
True.
happen when babies start to come. So that
Mm.
way, if there is already a foundation of that kind of conversation, then it is quicker to pick up when it is actually happening.
True.
When there is a baby in the picture and the man is beginning to change his attitude, or the woman is
Attitude.
beginning to change her attitude, so at
Attitude.
least one of them will be able to pick it and say, oh, could this be that something is wrong? And then they are able to
Exactly.
then ask for help. But if
Help.
this conversation is not on the table at all, then it is harder when you are already in it, because
In
at that
it
point both of you don't even know what's going on. So
at
the
all.
communication will not make sense at that point, right? And sometimes you don't even know well to ask for help because you're just
For help.
in your own cocoon. When in the heat
Safe.
of the problem, it's like, oh my God, the whole world is against me. What is wrong with me? And you can't even think straight to start to ask for help. All
Can't
right.
even express it.
Tolu says, yup, thank you. You answer it. And yes, Tolu, we agree that this should be included in marriage counseling. Absolutely.
They include
Thank you so
counseling.
much, Tolu, for being here from the very beginning and for even conversing with us and for being a part of the conversation. We celebrate you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. So this video is going to be up on the YouTube channel, and I'm sure Tokwa will be able to send the link to everybody
The,
who registered for the event so that they can
yeah.
watch the replay. Thank you so much. Even though we're not sure why you weren't able to make the live session, but we hope that you're able to rewatch this and then send feedback to Tammy so that she's able to get your feedback and work on it to understand how to serve you better. And I'm sure she's also going to share with you some other information on moving forward after this event and how she wants to take it further with the men folk and how we can have this conversation with husbands or men in the house. Okay, so what will be your last message for the audience before we round this off today? Can you hear me,
Hello?
Tammy? Yeah.
My, no, I had a network glitch.
Yeah, I said if you have any message, final message, and then let's round this off.
Oh, all right. So my final message would be, as women, let us try and ask for help. I think speak up. Don't stay silent. I believe that is one of the greatest blocks we have to cross as women. We stay silent. We see it when we experience sexual abuse. We see it when we experience emotional abuse. We see it as mothers. We see it as single ladies. We see it in almost every sector of our lives. When we have issues, we don't talk about it. We just try to be strong, like our mothers, grandmothers, and great grandmothers. I wonder how they did it. I just have one, and I'm wondering how they did it with six, seven, eight. But you're not in the same generation as
I
they
know things
were.
have changed.
Things have rapidly changed. I even like it how my husband says it, that then his mom will travel a long distance and be home in time. You will travel a shorter distance and you still spend 2, 3 hours getting home. So it's a lot. So understand that your generation is different. So open up, ask questions, ask for help, and receive it when it comes. So if you can take this up today, I'm excited. Thank you.
Wow, fantastic. I really do hope that we'll have a great time. Tolu has given us that feedback already, saying thank you, thanks a lot, learned a lot. Thank you for being real and sharing your story. Thank you, Timmy,
Thank you
for sharing your story
too.
with us. And thank you for, just allowing, being vulnerable enough to allow us into your world and telling us, how you're able to overcome. And I do hope that for whoever is going to watch this video later on, is also going to learn one or two things. But most importantly, I hope that you're going to send in your feedback, because this is how we
Yeah.
grow and why we do what we do, to share some sort of value with you. But at the same time, we want to know if it was valuable enough for you. And if not, let us know so that we are able to fine tune it and come back with much more value. My name is Ejiro Sakeda, and it's been a pleasure hosting you on this talk or this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Time. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Until you hear from Tammy again for the next, Mother's Haven event, remain
Yeah.
amazing. Ask for help and just be in the know. All right. Have a great
Yeah.
day. Bye.
And you too. Bye.
Bye.